We'll call the meeting to order, 9 o'clock, April 4th, 2017. Amanda, would you call the roll, please?
Crumwitty.
Present.
Polkenauer.
Present.
McTaggart.
Present.
Awful. Here. Kersley.
Present.
Whitlow.
Here.
Sticknott.
Present. Okay, it'll take a couple minutes to audit the claims. Look them over, if you haven't already.
You only have one, right? Good work. Really short one. Just one tired. Mark the rest of the week.
Everybody ready yet? I would entertain a motion to pay the claims. So moved. Jed, is there a second? Harv, any discussion? Hearing none, Amanda, roll call vote please.
Crumwitty.
Yes.
Polkenauer.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful. Yes. Kersley.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Sticknott.
Yes. I would like to amend the agenda. Dr. Yusuf has an emergency coming up, and if we could put him ahead of the discussion points.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Public comments. Seeing none, Dr. Yusuf, you're up.
Thank you. So the for the animal control cases for March 2017, we received one bag sent to the lab, came back negative already. We picked up 11 dogs March 2017, and then we investigated 6 dog bites, and unfortunately most of them, the dogs bite their own. Based on, like, 2 dogs like fighting each other, which is very good. So we try to be clear about clients, about other owners about that. And then I was in contact with a new guy for a few days now, concerning about arrangement. They are coming the 10th and 24th of April this month to starting the low-income stay-in program. They are coming this Friday, which is the 7th of April. We meet with them. I got like a permission from the city hall people there that we're gonna park the surgery unit by the West Park. So they are coming to see the location, see if it's safe or not, and we're gonna talk about how we perform the surgery, the point system, because we need to have like 50 points. So we start to receive some applications from people. Amanda did the press release for the ad for the program. We printed out some flyers, distributed some of them to the restaurant, some of them to people.
Oh, good.
And we started receiving some applications. So I have to sit down and see those applications are fitting the 50 points or not, because each dog, based on the weight or the age, would have certain points, and we need to collect 50 points when they come to start the surgery. I cannot schedule 20 dogs, based on point system. So far everything is going the right way, right direction. Dr. Whedon is Professor Newby. He's the one coming personally Friday with I think a couple of interns to check the location, and he's the one who will supervise the whole operation. So 10 and 24.
Okay. And I haven't noticed, has the press release been released? Good.
March 31st.
It was published? Okay, good. Okay. Any comments, any questions for Dr. Yusuf? The discussion of possible action for revising dog licenses fees, that may take us a while to discuss that. Do you want to stay around for that, or would you rather?
I can stay for maybe 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, thank
Okay. I think you have some handouts there. Probably too many handouts, but concerning some possible, let's see, where are they? Build these down. And pass those, maybe. This is something I put together. The black is how it is. Is that correct, Amanda? The black is how it is now. Are there enough for Dr. Yusuf? Yeah, I understand that the black print is how it is now, and it seemed a little confusing to me. I just wanted some input from committee members if you thought the red would be any more clear.
This agenda I have, Marvin, for December.
Yeah,
these were suggestions at the last meeting. Is that what they?
Amanda, can you enlighten us?
2015. 2015.
Okay, 2015. So what? This says 2016.
That's when we first created the fee schedule.
this is
Those
the
were
first
the, right. So those
Okay.
are the two suggestions that were brought to the board, and then you have copies of minutes where the motion was made to
Okay.
accept that motion, or to accept those fees.
And then on the back, this is a copy of the letter that goes to everyone who's got a dog license to renew. So that's how it prints to them. what they see is this section down here with the 4 different fees.
Okay, where'd that one go?
That's in the back of the first page.
Oh, the first page,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. And this one that is from Kankakee Animal Control, it has some complaints here, I believe, from citizens. The next 2 pages.
These complaints are what we've received.
Okay.
This is just what Kankakee,
Yeah.
this is, Anita, am I correct in saying this is what Kankakee uses for
Right,
their
their fees are
certificate?
just written up here
Right,
in the corner.
they just write them up here. But then these two are complaints that we've received in our office.
Okay, okay. And the dog licensing fees do seem like quite a bit probably to some people, but when you look through our expenses for running the animal control, they are very large.
I see no reason to change it.
You think it's all right the way it is?
Yes.
It just seemed a little confusing. I just wanted some input
Yeah.
from.
So Anita, did you create this then?
I did.
So at last year's rate, the variance is 1%?
I was just, this piece over on the far right
Yeah.
is, I was trying to reconcile the revenue account to make sure we're recording all the revenue right with what, all this middle section is out of Shelter Pro, that's out of the dog licensing software. So I ran all the numbers out of there, and then I wanted to make sure that where we're seeing it and in the revenue and make sure it's all getting recorded. And you can see that, I mean, it's not perfect. Last year we were off in total by $60 from the revenue account, but when we started up, we didn't have everything exactly right, so it could be some timing issues. And we've got a little issue this year, but like Troy said, it's less than 1%, so it's very small. But you're right, what to me it shows is you've got a couple things going on. One, you can see the average number of months of new tags being issued and what rates they are. Our revenue stayed about the same last year with $93,000, which is flat year over year. This year, so far year to date, we're pacing at about that amount. But look at the large number of 3-year tags that we're selling. So I think over the next year to 2 years, we would see a dip.
Right.
Unless, but we don't know for sure.
Year 2
But
and 3.
Year 2 and 3. What surprised me,
Until a flow gets started.
right, is the number of puppies. Do you see that? 26 puppies every month. And I cannot believe it.
Which sheet are we looking at?
This one.
Okay, okay.
So, I mean, I actually went down to Beth and talked to her about it, thinking it had to be a mistake, but not a mistake. So that's a whole lot of new tags every year, a lot.
So the recommendation would be to status quo?
And that is the one thing that we talked about, and Larry Hasbargen actually said, you know, look, we have too much money in this animal population control fund. And we said that, Troy, kind of, we'll never use this $10,000 we've accumulated in 13 months. There aren't enough dogs here at $10 a stick to use all that money. We'll never use it all. We're going to do nothing but create a big pile of money sitting there. So the thought was, oh, too much money's accumulated, let's lower the fees, and like the difference between unaltered and altered, and accumulate less money. That's not going to happen. I actually went in and went through the accounting, and that was part of this process too. Only $10 of that differential goes to the Animal Population Control Fund, not the whole difference between unaltered and altered. Only $10 of it. The rest of it goes to the general fund. So any reduction in that unaltered fee is going to reduce money going to the general fund.
Right. Okay.
We can't change, why can't we reduce that part of it, not what goes to the general fund?
Pardon?
Well, we're mandated to collect that.
Right. That's why you have the law on the back that says you have at least a $10 differential, and that $10 has to go to an animal population
So we
control.
what we talked about last week is the hopes that maybe the law would change, that you could allocate that money to another.
I don't know.
I did have the idea we maybe could use some of the money to advertise the
No,
spaying program.
it's earmarked.
Yeah,
So
so
until they change the statute,
I did check with Jim Devine, and he said
Can't do
no,
anything.
we couldn't use that money for
No, you
advertising.
can't use it for anything else.
nothing but that.
So unfortunate, it's kind of hard to get the word out if you can't advertise it.
Right.
So, okay, is there any action we need to take here?
Not if we're not changing it, we're not changing it. I do have a comment though on the end of the sheet. It says we need to talk about cats. Yeah.
About what?
Cats?
Cats.
You need to not talk about
No, we don't.
Can't find the cat sheet.
Because after cats, then mice come.
And rats.
There's a lot of those.
Well, if there's no action to be taken, we shall move on. Except I can't find the agenda.
There we got reports. So you got discussion from committee members.
Yeah, okay, discussion points from the committee members. What you guys got to say?
I have had a concern from another veterinarian that she'd like to, used to be advertised like when they'd set up little clinics for vaccinations, et cetera, and we used to advertise it somewhat, and that we don't anymore.
We don't do that.
Yeah, they had a concern.
I agree that it should be publicized if possible.
Yeah, called and talked to me last month about that.
Seems like in the past there were even posters or sheets, information sheets distributed to post offices or wherever.
Yeah.
It came from the clinic out in north, Dr. Joe's clinic, and said I was wondering, because last time she had a clinic for that, there wasn't very many people even came because it wasn't advertised.
Can that be published in the paper, you suppose?
In the Facebook page.
There you go.
Social media.
Any suggestions on how we...
Why couldn't we post that in the papers? Kids Park, or Gilman, and Watseka, and Kankakee?
Are we allowed to buy ads, or should that be a news release? Pardon?
That's a good question.
Can we use animal control funds to advertise?
Well, before, when animal control was was still in my office, we coordinated that with the animal control administrator to set all the clinics up with using the various veterinarians in the area at different locations, a lot of fire departments, places like that. And it was a public service press release is what it was.
Okay.
And it got published that way. Plus, we distributed copies throughout the county at post offices and things. But then when it got moved, the ball kind of got dropped, I guess. And
We're talking about advertising for the clinic that's coming or whatever?
no.
For rabies shots.
Low cost
Rabies clinic
vaccination
shots.
clinics.
Independent vets setting up clinics without any advertising.
I'd think it'd be just public service.
Just,
But I'm not an attorney, who wouldn't like that?
And that's something maybe we can discuss with Animal Control Clerk, Dr. Yusuf, to get something like that out.
How about PETA? Call PETA.
Put it on the agenda for next time?
Should we add it to the agenda for next month?
Good idea. Good idea. Let's put that on the agenda for methods to get information out. Any more discussion points? Okay, we shall move on to reports from the departments. Mindy, would you like to go first?
I really don't have anything. Hopefully we're printing tax bills towards the end of the month, but we'll see what Lisa says.
Okay, good. Well, that didn't take long. Lisa?
Election day, so far, everything has gone really well. Had calls this morning from the precincts, but they've been like just election judges that have called off, and we need an extension cord and, just small things. So fingers crossed that everything goes as smooth for the rest of the day and the night tonight. Big difference from last election, obviously. Again, the office was filled with election day people registering to vote. We've only had, well, by the time I left the office this morning, since 6 o'clock this morning, we had only had one person do that. But that's a lot of that is we saw with younger people. I don't know, maybe because they move a lot more than older people do, or what, but and younger people don't seem to get quite as involved in the local, elections. So nice and quiet in the office on the home front there for elections. In tax extension, to talk to Steve Connell at DevNet to find out how far we can go in our step process in tax extension. And he said we can go all the way to EAV accumulation before we have our final multiplier from the state. So the abstracts were sent in last Monday. We only have like 2 steps left before we're at EAV accumulation. And at that point, we just stop and wait until we get the final multiplier from the state, which has always been a 1. We hope for a 1. If you want to know what a 1 is, you'll have to get that information from Bob. He can explain that better. But the goal is to have a 1. And, we expect that is what it's going to be, but we can't go any further until we get that officially from the state. After that, there's still a lot to do. I think it usually takes 2 to 3 weeks to get the finals. I would like to see the end of the month as well, but I think that's probably a little ambitious. I'm not sure we're really working it, but we're doing what we can, and we'll continue to after we get the final to move it along and try to catch up a little. We won't be very, very late, but we'll definitely be later than last year. So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay. Question, will the election results, especially the contested races, be posted on the internet?
They will.
Okay.
They'll be posted on the county website as they come in tonight.
Okay.
So usually we start getting our first precincts at about 7:30, 7:45. Takes a little bit of time to get, set up. So I would say by 8 o'clock you probably start seeing some results.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, questions? If not, Bob, you're up next.
Obviously, we're done with, my office is done with 16. We plan to roll to 17 probably within a week, and then obviously start 17 work in earnest of processing assessor changes and going forward with that. I will submit some names to John through PMP for reappointments to the Board of Review. I had all 3 members are technically up for reappointment. I'm not going to reappoint one. I am going to have a new member there, and then obviously I have 2 that are going to continue. But I'm going to try to stagger them now going forward. Do 2 one time and 1 the next, and then so the 1 year there'll be a 1-year appointment for one person, and there'll be a 2-year appointment for the other 2. So but I'll run that through John through PMP because he wants to be involved in the appointment process. Then election day, if you noticed, depending on what precinct you're in, what jurisdiction you're in, you probably may not have an assessor on the ballot, which you're supposed to be. So potentially this could be a huge problem in 18 going forward. Don't know yet. Obviously, it's up to the townships to get the assessment work done. Some of them are aware that they're going to have a vacancy, and if they finally try to find somebody to do the work for them, they can. Sometimes they call me and beg for help or suggestions. So, like I said, just because it's election day, I thought I'd point to it. Still all the stuff work for 17 that's still in the old cycle. This is the last year. I know of a couple retirements from that's and there's nobody that I'm aware of going to in place to replace them people. So I'll start, in time, reach out to the township supervisors and see what their plans are, what their suggestions are, what their hopes are. But obviously, it could be a potential big problem because that's work that has to be done one way or the other, whether by the township or by my office, and that's me for that kind of stuff. So, and obviously, we're running up to we're running a little bit late, and that's more because of Ted's retirement than anything else. Because Lou had to do the job of 2 people at the last couple months because the new person wouldn't have had a clue that what they're doing anyway, and I didn't want any mistakes to hold it up even longer. So but if you saw in the claims, I sent Lou and that new person to Springfield last Tuesday to abstract schooling. So the state would tell us what they want, what they expect for the abstract, so that goes quicker in that process. So that's why you saw a mileage claim on that, because the schooling was free because the Department of Revenue put it on. So I just had to pay mileage out of my expense of office and send them down there. So and the 2 new people are working out really well. They're catching on pretty fast, actually really fast. I'm very hopeful. So that's going well, and get started in the new year and get them really overwhelmed here in the next couple months. So that's about it right now.
Okay.
And it's been pretty quiet on the legislative front. So the only thing everybody's really scared about in my circle is if they decide to go with the compromise tax freeze. But we're mum's the word on that. We don't want to hear that. But I don't know how they'd implement it. I really don't have a clue. But that's a big part of that budget compromise, and I don't know how they would implement it. It's going to be a nightmare if they do. That's just my personal opinion. But I think I've gotten two other ones right here.
Yeah. Nightmare.
Anita, do you have anything? Okay. All right. Move on. Any old business to discuss? Okay. If not, new business. The animal control clerk has caught up all the animal records, the dog registration records. She is being underutilized right now. She doesn't have enough to do. So it was suggested that possibly the department heads could come up with some way that they could use her part-time also. It was suggested that we put that forth today and maybe give us a month to discuss it, or to think about it. Hopefully next month somebody could come up with an idea to utilize her in other departments.
How would the compensation be allocated for that?
Good question.
Right now, it's budgeted 100% as a full-time position out of the county board.
So it could be,
So you could keep it there as long as she did work only in the general fund for general funded departments. She could stay there.
The work would have to be either brought to her or be presented on her computer, or possibly when she's out of the office have a sign noting where she would be so that she could be located when people come to discuss it. Any input from department heads yet?
I think that when we talked about this, when Beth was originally hired, I was pretty clear on record that the things that we do in the office are technical and take a lot of training, and I don't see that there's anything, like the one thing that I could think of that we could have had her do in her office is maybe put the statements of economic interest sheets, in envelopes, but that's already done for this year.
Yeah.
And even at that, sometimes they get more than one statement in an envelope, and that's all got to be coordinated. And that's like the least of the difficult, tasks that we do. In, for example, recording. You can't do anything without, training for a long, long time. Same way with, tax extension. It's really complex, and that even has to be trained by DevNet. The person, working in tax extension has to be trained by our company that has our software. Maybe getting a birth certificate for somebody isn't too difficult, but then again, there are a lot of rules that have to be followed with that too. It would just take a lot of training, to have her doing anything, to be honest. That's my 2 cents
Maybe she
worth.
could help with the cleaning.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
I
you.
said maybe she can help with the cleaning. I mean, they were wanting help for this other lady in maintenance.
She can't because that's a different union position at a different union
Oh, it's
scale.
Or
Or if she did, I don't know how, you'd have to get the union to agree that for the hours she works in animal control, she makes this rate, and for the hours she works as in housekeeping, she would make a lower rate. That's a lower rated position.
just an idea.
Mindy?
When we get ready to print tax bills, we could use another person in the office, and she could put something on the door. I mean, she'd just be right next door
Yeah.
to go back and forth. And then I had talked to Anita about when we start receiving tax payments in the mail, because Anita's department does help me with this. You can take a box of mail to her desk, but Anita would have to coordinate getting that module of software, DevNet software, downloaded to Beth's computer in her office.
Yeah, last year was the first year we did that we had Mary Ann help during tax receipt period of time. put a scanner at Mary Ann's desk, and I think it worked out really well. I mean, she could sit there, and she really got a lot, she spent a lot of time helping out. I liked that. That could be something both of them could do and really speed it up.
Right.
And then Mindy's office would only have to worry about the people, like the foot traffic.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty relatively short period of time. It was a few weeks in July and maybe a week in September.
Right.
With it.
Okay.
Just thinking out loud, if this thing, and thinking a year or two ahead, if this thing gets all straightened out and runs, in black and with little effort, is there a chance it'll roll up into a department again?
What are you referring to?
The animal control. Whether it's, can it run anything else? It was in Mindy's, I don't know, but let's say it gets down to where it's not that much work because we're doing it correctly,
Right.
then it could roll back into something, as long as it's not a cash negative to somebody. I don't see where it would be as much of a problem. Thinking out loud, and 2 years down the road.
Okay. Good point.
I mean, this thing was a mess a few years ago.
Okay, well, let's keep that in mind when we, maybe next meeting, we can have more ideas, something definite.
Because it could even fall below a part-time. If it would run like it's supposed to. It might not be 20 hours a week. But there is dealings with public on that.
Okay, any more discussion on this point? If not, that's all we have on the agenda.
I would move to adjourn. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.